I was in a bed at 12 o'clock today, and I was just lying there, and I was just thinking, fuck, like, what am I doing? Because I know that where I want to go and like the work that's required to do that, and yet I'm still here just rotten, just lying there doing nothing. I might as well just be dead. That sounds a bit negative, but that's not. But yeah, I might as well just be, completely paralyzed, like limp, big blur, just there. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. And I decided to take my own advice. I've been in situations like this before previously, over the last few months. And two pieces of my own advice I was able to take, which is nice, was that there are no bad days. This is, I've sitting here now, maybe 2 hours have passed since that. I've had a nice little revelation, and a lot of things have been revealed to me. There are no bad days. You can always learn stuff from anything. And the second one was just do something. So I was sat there thinking, okay, well, what would I want to do? I'll just do a bit of guitar. And despite being, what's a good word for just like a paraplegic, maybe? I don't know. And not having any particular desire to do anything, I was like, oh no, I'll play guitar for a bit. So it's so funny. I got up, picked up the guitar, just started strumming, and I got really into it. And it is really, really good. And it kind of just showed me that there's just a little bit of an activation energy you have to kick off before you can really like up your quality of life. Because whether you kind of look at it from a meaning sense of, well, there's no objective meaning maybe to playing guitar, and there's no objective meaning to being in bed. My quality of life was much higher when I'm there awfully strumming along to, what was it? I've forgotten the song. That's great. So You Won't Let Go. There you go. But I was also thinking about, just then in a broader sense, the work that I have, and the responsibility that I want to bear, and was thinking, how am I going to reach that? I think the only way to do is through obsession, and I've made, so there was an Instagram reel I posted 1st of January or 2nd of January even, because I left it until the latest date on the thing, and it was for Gymshark 66 thing, and that's a challenge where you post a reel every week or something, and you show like little bits of progress. Have not done that. That was the only one I've posted. Another since that is just completely unrelated, and there were little, so I haven't done any maths for a while, and this is schoolwork that I have, but I do have to do it. Like, I'm going to be sitting these exams, and I'm fortunate enough in a position, I don't even know really, because I was about to say I'm fortunate enough in a position where I know I have the time to still learn these things. If I were to completely focus, and this might be where I'm looking at it from an obsession point of view, as the complete focus is now, it could get to a point where I leave it, so that the complete focus and obsession becomes a necessity if I want to complete these things. And I do want to complete these things. Maybe I don't want it enough, but it's just a weird place to be, because there are areas of my life that I am neglecting, or failing is the wrong word, because I'm assuming that I'm able to maybe make it out of this situation. I'll look back on it and see it's just, it was another step in that path that I had to take, and I'm learning a lot from it every day. It's frustrating how incompetent I am right now, because I'm learning the same things again and again, little reminders, but as opposed to maybe 2 weeks ago, where there were multiple days a week where I would just be, there's a day I got out of bed at 3, and I would like wake up at 12 and just be like, I'm just go back to sleep, I've got nothing to do. Then wake up at 1 and just do. Today, was an anomaly in the fact that I ended up waking up late. I've had some really, really good days. And I think it might just be a sort of a presence of mind that when I can wake up, I can be like, okay, no, you know that if you just get on with something, you'll enjoy it. Today, I just maybe forgot that. Or maybe I was particularly sleepy. But yeah, I think obsession's the only way out of it. But I've noticed that I don't think I have an aversion. I don't have an aversion to obsession, but I think I mean, it's fairly obvious from the way I'm talking. I think I have a certain hesitancy. Just because, yesterday I helped somebody with their maths. I do like small little bits of tutoring, and that was a part of my day that I knew was sort of blocked out as, okay, I don't really get to decide what happens here because I'm doing this. I have to travel to their house, tutor them, come back. And maybe 2 days ago, looking ahead in time to my tutoring day, which was yesterday, and seeing that, I would see, oh, that's kind of like a restriction. That's a limit. I didn't mind it. It's such a small amount of time, and it gives me the money I need to live within my very small means right now, but comfortable means. And I'm very happy with it. But looking back on it today, when I was just sort of thinking, well, what made yesterday a good day? Like, what did I do that was good? Because then I can just maybe iterate that process into again, maybe do it again today, do it again tomorrow, and then I'll enter like a positive feedback loop and just spiral upward. And one of the things I look back on was like, oh, well, I actually did do that. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. I don't know if that's where the value was, but I knew that one of the things was, well, I did do that yesterday, and I enjoyed it. I had fun with a kid. He's actually really bright. I just don't know what's happening in his exam papers in class, but we went through one. He basically got 100%, and then he's getting like maybe 60% in class. So maybe my presence is that good. And it was funny that how I looked back on something that I would have maybe had a leaning towards saying would be more of a limit, or I don't know. I think taking responsibility is probably the best thing you can do. The problem is that because so much of my time now working from home or just being at home, not going to school, is that the responsibility I've previously had to take, I still take, and then all of this spare capacity that was previously timetabled for me and told to me what I would be doing at that time has just become like free space. Anyways, onto the hesitancy for obsession. I don't know where it stems from. I have a slight caution, because there have been times in the past where I've thought, I like philosophy a lot, and there have been times where you kind of just enter this almost self-referential, actually, just loop of thinking, then undercut, think, then undercut, think, then undercut, think, then undercut, to the point where you can just drive yourself almost into insanity. And I feel now, I mean, after reading, this could be a separate video entirely, but when you kind of probe deeper and deeper, especially into epistemology, and I mean, who would be the dude that did it? Would it be Descartes and Hume? Descartes' the epistemology guy, but cognito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. As soon as you sort of begin to see, I know, you feel a bit disillusioned. Descartes, Hume, Kant. These are very like niche things. The main idea is that there's a type of philosophy called metaphysics, and that's more about the outside world. I'm not very well studied on it, so don't take my word for it. But then there are also these guys that said, well, this could all be a dream. The only thing you really know is that there is a you experiencing that dream. You think, therefore you are something. That's the only thing you can be sure of. And then from there they build into like cause, all of these different things, because Hume says nothing actually causes each other, but you just kind of make it up. And then Kant, it is interesting, but my God, you have to be persistent to keep up with it. Maybe instead of thinking about the cost of obsession, because I know that if you can really get into something, you can really nail it. But the cost of regret, because again, if you go back to the objective like meaninglessness maybe of everything, you could just say, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to die. This is quite a bleak thing. And the nice thing is, again, take my own advice again. This is a bad thought. This is also bad as in bad for you, but also it's inaccurate. It's not true. You can imbue life with a sense of meaning, but you have to do it. And so that's, I guess, the initial activation energy. But I was thinking, but if I'm struggling with obsession, maybe part of it isn't maybe it isn't that I'm averted to it. Maybe I'm just lazy. So, I mean, then I can pray to have help with sloth. I don't think I have maybe problems with, gluttony kind of sounds like laziness, but it's more of just excessive consumption. I don't think, but sloth would be there. And I mean, to people who aren't religious, there are different types of maybe God you could believe in. Is in a more philosophical sense as well. You can believe that there is like a physical. Well, it wouldn't be physical. But these different types of God. So there's, this is a good way to explain it. When I pray, there are lots of different ways you can see as what I might be praying to. For me personally, I do believe that there is sort of a supernatural conscience that pervades everything, that is beyond my understanding. But even if you just looked at someone praying and they were saying, help me with sloth, or help me with being lazy, help me with all of these things, that alone helps. Because you're kind of, the act of making a declaration of, this is how I am, I don't like it, I want to be like this, it orients yourself towards something to a place you want to go, that you know is good. And you're saying that, you're setting that as your target. That is now what you're appealing to, or what you're aspiring to, maybe. And I mean, that's another way you could look at God. If you think some things are better than others, so if you think it's better, donate to charity than punch an old lady, that's, you set up a moral hierarchy. You can have a best and a worst thing in that. The best thing you could say is your God. Some people's God is money, because, some people's God is money, because they see everything through the lens of money, and that's how they orient themselves in the world. That is their value structure. That's their moral hierarchy that they build everything on, and how they perceive things. But that is a false idol. And I mean, because it just isn't, you can't iterate it over a long amount of time. It just fails, and it isn't good for you. So then, in some sense, you could say the Christian God is the best value system to have and to orient yourself toward. Anyways, I diverge. maybe a better way to think about the cost of obsession is the cost of no obsession and the cost of no work, and otherwise better known as the pain of regret. I was talking to my nan the other day. Recently, I've made more of an effort to talk with my nan because my granddad got ill to a point where I didn't really know them that well up until, with my nan, it only started the other month. But I realized that in my mind, I had them in a small box of what they were to me, because I think I mentioned this in another video, but I only really saw my dad as like my dad instead of the realization I had when I saw a photograph of him just before he had children, of wow, this man has a whole life before me. And I was like, okay, so he has his whole box and he has his whole big world, and to him, maybe I'm just a little box in his, probably quite a large box because my dad's super awesome. But yeah, my granddad got ill, and so I wouldn't be able to ever expand that box. And I was thinking, I don't want that to happen, because people, more and more, talking to people is what I think I enjoy most. There's a real sort of value in the fact that behind this interface, that's behind my face, behind my eyes, there's an infinite, maybe language becomes a bit tricky here, but I'll say there's probably like an infinite consciousness, and the same to the person who's watching this, that's the same with you. So hello from the infinite other side. And yeah, so I made an effort to talk to my nan more, because I realized I did not know who this lady was, and she was also at a time my age in a very different time, and has grown up, because these are issues I don't know how I'm going to handle psychologically. People say that one day you wake up and you look in the mirror and you're an old person, and so me and my nan, we can natter. She knows everyone in her town, or whatever you call it. Like, it's awesome. We're just going down the street, she's going hi. It's all so already my opinion of her has been like so enriched. But one of the things I was talking to her about was regrets, because she is 83, and so she doesn't have much of her life left, and she also maybe doesn't have that much capability to do things. She probably, if she wanted to, but never got the chance, she couldn't go skydiving now, probably. There's always a chance, but I don't think my nan's the sort of person who'd want to go skydiving anyways. And I was asking her, I said, do you have any regrets, or just stuff? And she said, yeah, like, she feels she just could have done more with her life, and it makes her a bit sad. And I was just thinking, like, you're gonna die, and you won't ever get to rectify that. And like, what a shame. Not that her life has been miserable or difficult, but you really do only get one shot at it all. And here I am in my youth, the next day lying in bed until 12, because if I'd had this very sobering thought and properly appreciated it at the time, I'm pretty sure I would have gotten out of bed pretty quickly. But lying there just in my own world of, it's a simple little interface, or it's a simple value system you can use to just think there, because it's simple. You don't need to think existentially all the time, but that, I guess, there comes at a cost. That comes at a cost if you do it in the wrong way. And so I said to her, like, well, what did you wish you'd do? And she just said she didn't really know, but she just felt she could have done more. I think this is the problem. There's everything kind of, fear lies in ambiguity or vagueness or the unknown. Fear of the unknown, I think, is maybe the biggest thing for like a lot of people. And one of the things I'm aware with obsession is that there's obviously that initial activation energy that you have to put a lot in just to quickly get going, just to get over that hump of, come on, get out of bed, let's grab a guitar. And then you see people talking about the pain of just like how isolated that makes you. I think that's a different kind of pain. I don't think I've even scratched the surface of pure, long, focused, disciplined dedication to something, because the pain cannot just be at the start. I think it is probably one of the hardest things you can do. Just a bomb went off. But you can't ever, if you regret something, you can't ever fix it. And fear lives in the unknown. And so I think one of the best things I can do, and this is maybe one of the reasons that taking responsibility is such a good thing to do, is because if you just do something and you just say, okay, no, I'm going to do this, by the end of it, at least you will have done something, and you will learn little bits along the way. But you have to have a plan. I think right now, the struggle I'm facing is not because I don't want to do these things. My why for these things is really, really good. Like my motivation to do these things. But the problem is when there's another side to it, in that because I'm so unbelievably incompetent at the things I want to be able to do, if my motivation is so strong and I just begin doing it, and then I keep realizing how fucking awful I am, it hurts. It's because I'm just like, I've fallen short of this thing I really want. And so that's how comfort creeps in, because it's easier just to, by no means am I think, in a situation where I would say I'm below average. I think, but I know where I could be and where I want to be, and I'm just nowhere close to it. And to come back day after day and day after day, it just gets so much, and that leaves you paralyzed at 12 in the morning, just going, fuck. Let's just do something. And the more you do it, the easier it will get. That's why I was up at 12 today instead of at 1 or at 3. And it's slowly getting better, but it's just. But I know it's in the direction I want to go. I was thinking, well, why, when I was lying there, why don't I just go to school? Because at least then it felt like I was doing something. But I know if I went into school, I would be then thinking, why the fuck am I here? Because I need to, that's not the person I need to be. I know the person I need to be, but I'm just so far away from that. But this is how I get there. It's just going to take time, and I'm happy to be patient with it. But dealing with my own incompetence is probably the most frustrating thing, far more than anybody else's. You could talk to the dumbest person ever, and I would still be like, mate, it's as frustrating as it is talking to you, when I myself am letting myself down for reasons that I know are bullshit. And then there's a whole balance of, well, you don't beat yourself in the dirt. You have to just like take it on the chin and then go again. But you don't want to just let it slide. You kind of almost want to punish yourself, but you can't do that. That's not a useful thought. You pick yourself up. You think, okay, no, the way we fix it is we just go again. We go again. So after this, I'll go again, and we'll just keep having back at it. And the reason I think that taking on responsibility is the best thing you can do is because, one, at least you're doing something, and two, it gives you a plan. I've set the target for myself to like learn Polish, and that is just a huge goal that I don't even know what it's going to take to get there, because I don't know what it means to learn a language fluently. I know that's what I want to be able to do, but I don't actually know what it will require, and that makes it very difficult at times when I just think like, well, what am I supposed to do if I'm not fired up and super like enthusiastic, obsessed with it at that point? And I think so, setting baby steps that you can just see. Terence Tao, who's a mathematician, said if you have like a really difficult problem, you need to go from A to B, find a C, and it's usually easier to go from A to C and then C to B. Like, say the original problem was 100% difficulty, this will maybe be a 40% difficulty problem and another 40% difficulty problem, and then it's a lot easier. That's not exactly what he meant, but the meaning's conveyed there. So in total it's 80%, so it's 20% easier. And so these little baby steps that I can take to learning Polish would be, okay, let's get really, really good at learning one thing, and we won't have then learned the whole language or anywhere close to it. And so I might think, okay, well then it's kind of slightly confusing at first because what the fuck have I done? And that doesn't really make sense, because you might be thinking, well, you've learned some of it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I want to see my ultimate goal and put all my work into that. But I have to appreciate that I don't know what I'm shooting for. That if I knew the perfect way to do it, of course I'd put 100% in, but I can't know that because I'm not fluent yet. And so I'm just going to have to set my goal right here, and then I'm going to like take a stab at it, okay? And this is like where my mini goal is going to be. I'm going to go here, and like maybe I overshoot a little bit, so then I'm going to try and correct, and I'll eventually get close enough to where I'm finally converging on it, and then I'm going to be done. And it's going to be the same with, I know, little bits of guitar, little bits of YouTube. So one of the things I was thinking was, okay, well, a good thing to do responsibility wise is just going to be post daily here. I can make that commitment now, but the problem is there's going to be the painfulness of probably endlessly putting up a shit upload that I just am completely floundering about in. Not a shit upload that, because I posted a video that got like less than 20 views, and I knew it was going to be shit, and so it's kind of cool because I was like, I have some control over this algorithm now. And I'm looking at it, and I was like, I'm gonna actually try to do something good maybe and just not be able to. I'm gonna have to deal with my own incompetence, but I'm kind of come out the other side of that. One with the whole thing of just practicing the muscle again of get up, keep going, like it's all good. And I mean, if I were to, even a month ago, if I were to look at me now, even with regards to the gym, honestly, man, but with regards to gym, with like a week ago, I didn't know like guitar. Now I can like do little bits of little things. But it's just, you just got to keep on going. And that's all I can say. So big, long video, but if you've stayed, thank you very, very much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I will too. Catch you later, Chakowskis. Oh wait, I'm gonna figure out something to do with chocolate milk, so keep an eye on that, because that thing is going to be legendary.